Sharp Game here, coming at you on another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And P.S. and by the way, before I forget, check me out on Instagram. If you search for Sharp Game, I'm there. I'm over there heavy now. And also, you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Sharp Game. And today, I'm going to talk about the top 5 ways you can tell if a woman's attracted to you. And some of these ways may be obvious to some people, but I'm telling you, to most guys, it's not. A lot of guys misread a lot of different things about women. They have a lot of different ideas about women, and vice versa. But some of these ways are not so obvious, and people don't talk about it. And that's the thing that I hated when I was younger. And even still to this day, there's just certain things within society people just don't talk about. They don't even talk about it at the barbershop. And the barbershop is like the one place where you can damn near talk about any and everything. But certain things just don't get talked about amongst people socially, amongst men and women socially in society. So one of the obvious ways that a woman is attracted to you is she's going to touch you. And you have to keep in mind that women, for the most part, don't touch anything that they don't like. I think that's just most people in general, but really, especially women. They don't touch anything they don't like. And if they don't like you, they won't like you touching them either. And if you touch a woman in any type of way, especially if it's in a somewhat sexual way, or if you touch her arm or her back or her neck or her butt or her legs, if you touch her in those types of ways and she doesn't like you, you're going to get a reaction that's not so nice. It's not going to be a good response, So these are just some ways that you can tell. If she touches your arm, if she just kind of like grab you and let you go real quick, or touch you with the back of her hand and let you go, or the palm of her hand and let you go, it's kind of like a subtle tap, or she might grab your arm or rub your arm. Those are signs that, especially if you just met her within 15, 30 minutes or time span. Those are signs that she's comfortable. She's interested in being around you, or she's having a good time being around you. So it's going to be, a little touching going on, a little pat on the back, or high five, or something like that. Those are just subtle things to watch out for and pay attention. And the next thing is the eyes. Now this is something that I do naturally now, because I study people. I study people's body language. And the eyes never lie, just like the body never lies. People can say one thing, but the body is either going to be congruent to what they're saying or not. So when the thing you have to watch out for is women, when a woman sees something, or if something grabs her attention, her eyes usually get big, or she gets excited, but the eyes will start to be diluted. It'll start dilating. Her pupils will start like kind of going back and forth, or maybe she might look, So it's those are just certain things you should watch out for. And maybe she might wink at you. Maybe she might, uh, you know, some people call it smiling with the eyes. I think I heard somebody like Tyra Banks say something like that, at the time. It kind of makes sense, but it's basically the eyes and the facial expression has to match. That's the point I think she was trying to get across during her show, America's Top Model. So watch the eyes, And the third thing is, which I kind of hit it on, is body language. If you're talking to a woman, or just people in general, really, if people want to hear what you have to say, or if they're interested in what you have to say, they usually lean in. They usually lean forward, or they lean towards you. If someone's not really interested in anything you have to say, they usually lean backwards or try to create space. Or if they're not comfortable being around you, they shift over. They try to get away or create as much space as possible. So if someone wants to hear what you have to say, or they're comfortable being around you, they'll lean in or get closer. So those are just some things you should pay attention to. And sometimes if they get real comfortable, they'll even give you a hug or put their arms around your shoulders. So just like I said, most women, they don't touch anything that they don't like. Or they don't touch anything that they don't feel like, it's safe. This person's safe. I'm comfortable being around this person. This person's cool. But, it takes some time to work your way up to that. This is why talk game, having a mouthpiece is good. And I talk about a lot of this in my Patreon. That's why I said if you go over to patreon.com/Sharp Game, I talk about, I gave my a proven concept of body language that a lot of people either never thought about or probably never heard of before. But I know I've never heard anybody talk about it in socially, just around the circles that I hang around. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. And they don't talk about it within the mainstream media either. So pay attention to people leaning in, women leaning in. And the fourth thing is, she might buy you a drink. Now, I know this goes against what you probably heard. Now, a lot of guys will look for women to buy the drink for. But sometimes, if y'all really hitting it off, a lot of times a woman will buy you a drink. Now, you got to think about the psychology when it comes to this. Now, I don't know if you realize this or not, but it takes a lot for the average woman to buy a guy anything. It takes a lot for a woman to take out her money, or take out her credit card and buy a guy anything. That takes a lot. For a woman, the average woman, to buy a guy anything or give a guy some money, that takes a lot. I don't think a lot of guys realize that. So whenever a woman buys you anything, a gift, a drink, that's like, that kind of means a lot to them. It might not mean a lot to you, but to the average woman, that means a lot, because women go to places, clubs, just for drinks and to have a good time. They don't go to the club because they want to pay, because they don't go to the club thinking that they're going to have to buy their own drinks. The average woman don't think like this. The average woman think like this: I'm going to the club tonight, If I have to spend any money, it's going to be a certain amount, but I know I can probably seduce and manipulate a certain amount of guys to buy me drinks anyway. That's the average woman thinking, just like that. So if she buys you a drink, man, that says something. Believe it or not. Really. And the last and final thing is, if a woman likes you, she's going to want your attention. So, for example, if you meet a woman and y'all hit it off, she's going to say, hey, give me a call. Take my phone number. Let's exchange phone number. A lot of times she might be shy, or she might be reserved, or she might be a little conservative, or she might be hard to read. But if a woman calls you, or she tells you, hey, give me a call, that's a pretty good sign that, she wants to follow up with you and see you again, regardless of the mixed signals that a lot of women might be sending sometimes. But, because if 9 times out of 10, if she doesn't want you to call her, you're probably not going to get the right phone number. And she's probably not going to tell you to call her. 9 times out of 10. Unless she just have too many guys. But for the most part, if you see a woman and she engages in a conversation with you and she tells you to call her more than once, or she makes time to be with you, that's a pretty good sign that she wants your attention. And I talk about this more on my Patreon, just like I said. So if you want more of this, go over there, patreon.com/sharpgame, and get the rest of that game. And if you like what you heard, subscribe. Check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com, and go get my books. Until next time, I'm out. Peace!